What's up, YouTube? We're back with another episode of What the Hell Am I Doing? Today, I've got a really interesting place for you guys. This one was built way back in 1865. It is a historic property that they're trying to save, and it's been abandoned now for about 10 years, since roughly 2014. The place I'm talking about is this one right here behind me. I think this one's gonna absolutely blow your minds. So why don't we take a walk around the property, get inside and see what we can figure out about this place. Okay guys, we're gonna start today's adventure just outside the front of the house here on what would have been the driveway at one point in time. We're gonna take a quick walk around the property, then we're gonna get inside and see what we can figure out about this place. Like I mentioned in the introduction, this place was actually built way back in 1865, and it's been sitting now for about 10, almost 11 years abandoned. It was abandoned sometime in 2014 or 2015, and it's been sitting like this ever since. Now this place originally was supposed to be moved or demolished for an infrastructure project that they were going to do at one point in time. And if I show you beside the house here in the background, you can kind of see like a ramp mountain of, well, it looks like grass now. But at one point in time, this was actually going to be an extension to a highway that was running through this town, and they abandoned the project, and that's why this house is still sitting here. At one point in time, this house was supposed to be removed for that project, and it's now been sitting in limbo ever since. The only thing that's really changed here is at one point in time, this house was completely covered in willow trees. Even when people lived there, there were willow trees surrounding the house and covering it during the summer months. And if I turn around and show you the rest of the property here, there used to be a drive shed over there, and there used to be a barn right about there. They tore that down about 3 years ago, and they've left the house like this ever since. So I think this one's gonna be really, really interesting to get into just because of the fact that it's so old and there's so much history here. And I'm also curious to see what the state of this place is like after so much time. So while we work our way a little closer, this house is actually located in the middle of some farmland. You can see there's some land that's been worked there. And in the background where that ramp is, you can see the land has also been worked over there. But up here itself, just completely overgrown with brush and weeds. A really sad sight for, you know, a place that at one point in time was probably a very loved home and probably a source of pride. And obviously the fact that they, you know, gave it a heritage status and there's a historical family that used to live here, you know, the town was even had a sense of pride for this place at one point in time. Unfortunately, I think that's long gone now. You see the place sitting like this, and it is a shame. This property is about 200 acres in size, so that ramp back there is actually part of this property. So you can see, you know, I don't really want, we'll go this way first. I don't really want to walk through all this if I don't have to, but I want to try to give you guys all the angles of this house. But you can see, you know, it's a very simple 1800s looking house. Obviously, when we get inside, I think we're going to see that a lot of renovations and things have been changed. Oh, I almost tripped. This debris here, I don't know how that ends up here. Oh boy, look at this, it's everywhere. But yeah, we're gonna work over to this field, I guess. Be a little easier to maneuver. But this is the side of the house here. And if we go around back, you can see there's an addition they put on. I don't really have any information on how old the addition is or any of the changes they would have made to this house. So we'll try to guess the best we can. But you can see that's the addition there. And if I keep going over here, we'll show you the other side of the house. It's a beautiful day, late May. Starting to get warm here, which is nice. It's been a very cold month. Only got like a little shed there. We'll check that in a moment. And this is the other side of the house. It's an interesting looking place. Definitely has that old school style. I believe this is a vernacular home, if I remembered it correctly, or said it correctly. So that's kind of neat. You can see at this side of the house here, at one point in time, they did have a deck. It is long gone, it's collapsed. Try to get closer. But yeah, you can see this deck. If it was still standing, you would have been guaranteed to see me fall through it. Creepy notes on the house there. What we got here? Basement entrance. Guess we'll take a quick look since we're here. Oh wow. Gonna have to turn the light on. Okay, yeah, this is the basement. So you know what? We'll check this now since we're already here. I don't know if there's an entrance to the basement from in the house. For all I know, it's just an outside entrance. You can see it's very tight down here. I can't even stand up straight. You got some very old piping here. The floors are like a deck. Now, even though this is like an 1800s house, well, it is an 1800s house, I don't see many indications of that from the undersides of the floors yet. They're not square nails or anything like that. But this is the addition. Over here, the floor is very soft. Look at this. Oh yeah, I don't think there is a way. Oh, yeah. So we couldn't have gotten to the basement from in the house, so it's a good thing we checked it this way. You got an old school computer here. The ground's covered in interlock, which is interesting. It's brick, actually. It's not interlock. So they got some old computers left behind. You got a chair in the corner there, which is kind of creepy. Oh yeah, they definitely had some water problems. You can see some of these boots were left behind. Now you can see even the joists and everything here. I mean, those could be carved, but the nails aren't square. Actually, those ones are square, so there's some square nails right there. So there you go. A little bit of proof from underneath, showing you how old this place is. You can actually hear the water underneath these bricks moving. That's not good. But yeah, you can see it's very bad shape down here. You got like a 20-year-old water heater at least. Surprisingly, it looks like the lines are all here. And yeah, otherwise there's just some various junk here. All right. Well, I guess that's all the time we're going to spend down here. And I think that's actually going to be it for our outside part of the tour, since we kind of did our walk around the house. There's not much else to see, unless you want to look at 200 acres of land, which I'm sure nobody wants to do. Oh, I just hit my head. All right. Well, we're out of the basement now. And we're back out here. Oh, I hit my head again. Not going so well today. But yeah, you can see it's a beautiful big property. And this would have been a very quiet place at one point in time. All right, guys. Well, that's all the dilly-dallying we're gonna do out here for today. So why don't we get inside this house, see if we can figure out about it. All right, guys, we're gonna start today's adventure just inside the front door of this house, in which I presume is probably the family room. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna just kind of take a walk around the first floor, and then we'll work our way upstairs, and we'll see what we can figure out what happened to this place. Like I mentioned outside in the introduction, this house dates all the way back to when it was built in 1865. It's kind of hard to believe that this place is still around, and it's actually a really tragic thing to know that this place has been sitting abandoned now since around 2014. So it's been 10 plus years roughly since this place has been abandoned. And unfortunately, time has taken its toll in this place. And you can see a lot of things like the ceiling have come down. You can see there's a lot of water damage to the floors. I think this one's still going to be a very interesting house though. There's definitely a lot of history here. So sit back and relax and let's enjoy a good explore. Like I mentioned, we're just starting this one just inside the front door there. There it is. I didn't actually show you guys the front porch and the walk around because it was so hard to get to the house because of the weeds. So we'll do that real quick. You can see they had a beautiful door. This is probably from inside the house because the door is still on the wall behind me here. But you can see this is a beautiful old door, beautiful French door. And obviously it's been tossed aside and kind of busted up. It's a real shame to see this. But what a beautiful front porch to this house. It's just off a major road. Like I mentioned, this house sits on 200 acres of land. And this land is mostly farmland now. As you can see as I go over here, the land has been worked over. As you look around, there's the weeds and everything that we started out in. But it's a beautiful front porch. Not huge. It's got the west-facing view, so you get the sun setting every day, which would be absolutely beautiful. You can see, though, time is taking its toll here. They've got a natural skylight built into the overhang now. Yeah, this is a great little spot. This would be a great spot to have your cigar, your coffee, your beer, whatever you do. Unfortunately, it's just in terrible shape now and will never be enjoyed again. So as we approach the house here, you can see they have another really old door here. Look at the way the paint is decaying off of that door. It's just an amazing texture to it. Really distressed looking. And of course, when we enter, this takes us back to the space where we started the video here. Our immediate right, you got the stairs going upstairs. You got the kitchen over there. Of course, the living room space, or the family room space, which we started in over here. So since we started over there, why don't we go this way first, since you guys have already seen it. We'll go upstairs last, obviously. I gotta point out to you guys, I don't know how obvious that is, but those stairs are heavily leaning to the left. So hopefully this place isn't too dangerous. Hopefully I don't end up falling through the floor or something while trying to show you guys this house. All right, so we're gonna work our way in. You can see here, they actually do still have hardwood floors that are left behind. This isn't laminate or any of that cheap stuff that's been installed in the last 20 years. These floors here are real hardwood. Probably floors that I would say date back to the 40s or 50s. My guess is, even though this house was built in 1865, a lot of it's been renovated and changed since then. And just from looking around real quick, I would say a lot of the renovations happened, you know, between 1930 and 1960. You can see this house has incredibly huge baseboards, which is a feature I absolutely love to point out when we go into these old farmhouses. I mean, those baseboards, they're about a foot tall. So those are pretty neat, and obviously a feature you would have seen in homes definitely in the early 1900s, maybe the late 1800s. And those baseboards go all the way around the room. Another interesting feature, which is obviously a renovation at some point, a modernization, would be the fact that they have the electric baseboard heaters running around the room as well. This house still features original windows. I mean, I don't know if these windows are actually original to the 1800s, but these windows are at least 100 years old. I would say these windows are early 1900s to 1940s at the latest. They have the beautiful trim going around them, which is like 6 inches wide. And of course, they have those amazing ledges. And as I pan around, you're gonna see every window on this floor is the same type of window, potentially original to the house, or, you know, from the last renovation to the house. There is a lot of graffiti in here, unfortunately. I have been in this house once before, many years ago, and it wasn't like that then. I should have filmed it then. Unfortunately, I did not. So I do apologize for the silly graffiti, but I really don't think it's going to take away from this place at all. So as we work our way deeper into this family room here, you can see there's a separation in the flooring there, but it's still all real. I turn to my right, and they've got a closet here, which they also used to run heat ducts, and it looks like a water pipe. It's a really thick water pipe though, it's an inch thick. But again, as I back up, the trim around this door, trim around that door, all of it's very old. I want to say original to the house, but I might be wrong in saying that, but it's definitely early 1900s at the latest, just because of the way it looks. Here's probably the newest addition to this house. It looks like at some point they got a little fancy and added in a gas fireplace insert. They never actually built the fireplace around it. They just kind of put this in and hooked it up, and that was that. So that would have been very nice, pumping a lot of heat through the house. Of course, as I turn around, this is the look back to where we first started the video. There's the front door over there. So to our left here, we got another room, and look at the decay in here. Wow. I mean, this is another reason why I love doing these old places. Just look at that paint decay everywhere. It's insane. I like those paneled ceilings. I like how they have wood paneling for the ceiling. Look at that decay. Wow. That makes for some amazing photos, and in my opinion, for an interesting video. Of course, this whole room is just in terrible shape. Wow, look at that. For as long as this place has been sitting, the piping is still here. No one's taken any of the copper. That's bizarre. I like that built-in bookshelf there. That's an interesting feature. Oh, look at that wrench. They got a wrench left behind. But yeah, you can see they got the bookshelf there. They would have had a phone connection there. That's a neat little built-in. Of course, I show you over here. The window over here is also original, as you see. Well, original in the sense that it, could be from a 100-year-old renovation. But I'm going to say original because I don't know what else to say. Oh, and this is obviously a laundry room as I'm panning around. So you got your dryer hook up there, you've got your water connections for the washer, and you've got your vent there for the dryer. And they also have the original floors in this room. You can see they have like that barnwood type of flooring, painted a different color, which is very typical in these types of houses. Of course, we got a little bathroom here, so let's check this out. It's actually a powder room. Again, it's the room of decay. Oh, look at that. So they had a tile ceiling that they probably did in the 50s or 40s. That's that type of tiling. But above it, they had the wood panel ceiling, which is actually a much better looking ceiling to me. So it's kind of surprising they would cover that up. But again, this room, heavily decayed, lots of paint peel. Surprisingly though, the toilet's not that old. We gotta know. Has a brown bomber been here? Nope. Brown bomber hasn't been here. And that's a very interesting sink. Not a pedestal sink. It's actually like a table style sink. You can see it's got legs on it. We've seen a couple houses with this now. I'll just move this tile out of the way. So that's the original hardware that they probably had with the sink when they installed it. That's a really nice sink. It's too bad that it's sitting in a bathroom like this. I also like how they have the wood going around the wall here, like a little bit of trim, a little bit of nosing going around, make it look a little prettier. That's interesting. But yeah, that paint decay is just absolutely wild. Up there, you can see the wires are even there. Like nothing's been taken out of here, which is very surprising to me, to be honest with you guys. Wow. Yeah, I think upstairs is gonna be dangerous. So we're gonna have to be careful. All right, let's go this way and work our way in. Look at this. Look at the walls, the paint decay there. They still have their plastic bags that they used to keep. And of course out here, oh look at that. Yeah, they've got the beautiful wood panel ceiling out here in the kitchen. I love the ceiling. I think that's a great feature. It would be nicer if it wasn't painted, but it is what it is. And of course here's the basement entrance where the stairs have been removed. Now we've already been down there when we did our walk around outside. You can see those are the computers there that I showed you earlier. So that's kind of neat. We got to see the whole house a little bit differently. And of course, on the door it says turn around. Lots of ominous messaging in this house so far. Of course, as I back up here, I'll kind of show you the decay and everything. It's just wild. And this is a really cool kitchen. We'll get into that in 1 second. Huh. That's an interesting tally chart there. What do you guys think is the winner? Tell me. And of course, this door here goes out to the front porch. And if I go this way here, this takes us right back to where we started the video. You got the door on the floor, you got the stairs to my right, and this is where we actually did the first moments of the video inside. All right, so let's take a better look at this kitchen. You can see the flooring in this kitchen obviously is not original to when they built the house. There's another pencil sharpener. See a lot of those in these places. You can see they had linoleum. They had a couple different types of linoleum. You got the white linoleum and you got the blue stuff. I would say this flooring is probably, from the looks of things, I'd say this flooring is probably from the 80s. It's probably one of the newer things they've done in this house. As I turn to my right here, Got a beautiful south-facing and west-facing window. Again, they're original windows. Well, you know, original in the sense that I've explained to you guys. They are smashed out, unfortunately, but they're so big. They would have let so much light in, especially in the summer, like this time of year right now. You know, these would have been beautiful windows throughout the afternoon and into the evening. Just a beautiful spot. Over here, you've got all these bricks and fireproof tile, I guess, on the ground. So what they had here was a stove, because you still have the port for it, the exhaust port on the ceiling going upstairs, and you have a little bit of the pipe left. So at one point in time, they probably had a beautiful stove in here. Would have been a great little unit, I'm sure. This is a really cool thing. This kitchen really has like a 50s feel to it. Look at that rounded like pedestal table there. Even the counter, this counter has a real 50s feel to me. It has a real 50s vibe, especially with the rounded shelving and just the whole rounded design at the end there. Very, very 1950s looking. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'm sure viewers like Tommy and John will point that out right away. But I don't think I am. I think this kitchen was probably renovated around the 50s. It's a pretty neat space. It almost feels commercial. You know, like this is definitely like a table where someone would stand with a beer and chill. I would expect to see that in a stadium, not in someone's kitchen. But still, it's a neat feature, and I like it a lot. Again, over here you have another original window. Still have the curtains on it, which is cool. Paint decay over here is really wild. I mean, this is years and years and years of the environment affecting this house to do that. It's just really cool. As I turn this way, this is what the actual kitchen space looked like. Counter space, I mean, it's very limited. You can see this kitchen's a large space, but the actual workspace of it and storage space, very small. Look at that old Sunbeam electric can opener sitting there in the corner. I don't know what that would have been for, maybe for an electric knife. The knobs are quite beautiful. They got flowers on them, so it's good to see for the most part the knob goblin hasn't been here. I only see one missing knob so far. I'm sure if I go through these drawers, they're all going to be empty. Yeah, they're all going to be empty, so it won't bother. And of course, you have a very primitive countertop here, but it has a nice tile backsplash, which is always a great feature. They have dog chews there, some rawhides. Of course, you know, standard sink. That looks like 70s hardware, maybe 80s hardware. I'm sure these will be empty too, yeah. Unfortunate that it's all empty except for some plastic forks. Looks like something was nesting up there. Kind of interesting. I'd like to dig through that, but I don't want to. Oops. But yeah, this is the view from behind the counter here. Looking out at the kitchen. Quite an interesting space. Of course, for the fan to be drooping like that, you know this place has been empty for quite some time, and we already know it's been 10 years. One thing I forgot to show you, I'm going to come back over here for a second. I saw this when I was filming here. Yeah, look at this. This recycling calendar is from 2013. So that kind of supports what I said outside when people lived here till about 2014 or so. So as we go back, oh, okay, just as I'm going back, I just noticed there's an outlet there for a stove. So the stove would have been over here, and who knows where the fridge would have been. Maybe they didn't have one. No, they probably did. Well, that's interesting. They have hangers up there. They're adjustable too. I don't know what that's for. Maybe they hid this area with curtains. You guys tell me. So we're going to go into this back space here. Now, when we were walking around back before, I mentioned that there was an addition on the house. We're now standing in said addition. And you can see the addition is quite old. These are old windows. They're not too much more modern than what you see in the rest of the windows looking like. Nothing here has been upgraded at any point like after the 40s or 50s, that's for sure. So, you know, just from the way these windows look right here, I'm going to say this addition section of the house probably was built around 1940 or so. Maybe 50. It's hard to say, but you know, that's kind of my feeling. Probably around the time they built the kitchen. Again, the graffiti is very interesting. as is that light. It's a very old school light. Of course, this door here goes out to that porch that we saw when we did the walk around that's completely collapsed. Like I mentioned, if I had gone on that, I definitely would have gone through. So it's probably better that it's already destroyed so you guys didn't get a chance to see me fall through. I like how they have the warning tape here. Like there's warning tape going around the door. And it also matches that cover that's on the wall there. And there's another bird. A couple birds have come in here. I don't know if you guys have seen them. But yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what the theory is here. Why everything looks like that. Now that says 2002, 3, and 4, but I know for a fact people lived here. So that probably means something else. All right, so we'll go back into the kitchen here. Again, the decay on the door is really cool. Really, really neat kitchen. Okay, so let's work our way upstairs, see what's up there, and then I guess we'll wrap this one up. Hopefully upstairs is safe. Cross your fingers, we don't want anything to happen. So we're at the bottom of the stairs. We're going up these crooked things. Believe me, guys, every time I see stairs leaning like this, I get nervous. One thing I do have to point out, usually when you go to a house that's, been open like this and tagged up like this, usually the railings and the banisters get destroyed. But not here. It's still intact and quite beautiful. I'm not a fan of this runner going up the stairs. Obviously, time hasn't been either because it's starting to come off on its own. Again, I don't know if you guys could tell. Yeah, the screen's representing it pretty well. It's leaning heavily to the left. Oh, look at the floor. There's debris oh, there's a hole in the ceiling. Oh boy. Yeah, this place is getting rough. All right, so we're at the top of the stairs here. And this is what the second floor kind of looks like. I'll back up. So the hallway's not very huge. The hallway is basically a U-shaped hallway. Again, the banisters are beautiful. Look at the newel posts. Like those are definitely hand carved. Very cool. But yeah, the upstairs is just kind of a U-shaped hallway. You got a bunch of rooms going off of it. Again, beautiful wood paneling on the ceiling. Unfortunately, it's all painted, but you know what? It's cool now because it's all peeling. And that makes for a visually appealing Explorer to me. So that's pretty neat. Let's go this way. We'll go this way first. The flooring up here, it's that original barnwood type flooring that you would see in a house built in this era. It's painted gray like many others that we've seen. So that's neat. And again, the trim and everything up here, all the door trim, the baseboards, all that seems to be original and untouched. And again, just everywhere you look, there's decay. So try to take it in. If you have to, watch this video a couple times. There's a lot of decay and a lot of interesting stuff, I think. So this room here is obviously like a kid's bedroom. This room is in terrible shape. You can see that you right into the attic space there. The ceilings come down. There's holes going out to the sky. The newest thing in here is the board that's on the window for sure. But yeah, look at the floor. I'm kind of afraid to go in here. I don't really want to go through the floor. I mean, even the baseboard, look at that. The baseboard's like disintegrating right there. But yeah, this floor is covered in inches of material, mostly insulation, ceiling tile, and whatnot. And all the happiness and joy that once happened in this room that's filled with balloons has now turned into sadness and decay. Yeah, no regrets. We'll go back out to the hallway here. Again, the banister is beautiful from both sides. I'm so surprised it's not vandalized. We go in here, we got another bedroom with some graffiti, unfortunately. This room's in good shape. You can see they covered up the flooring in here. And this is probably another kid's room just based on the colors. And you've got the teddy bear and bunny border. So it's definitely a younger child's room. And again, this room has the beautiful wood paneling for the ceiling. This stuff would have been amazing to see if it was just varnished, maybe lightly stained and varnished. But even painted, that's a better look than, you know, most ceilings. I'm not sure I like the yellow trim and baseboards, but hey, this paint held up. I mean, look at that, it's still glossy and it's not cracking at all, no decay. Pretty interesting. And again, this room also has an original window. And those are interesting stickers. I don't know if those would have been up when a kid lived here. Dean Market, hey, those are guitar strings, that's cool. In here we have a closet. Kind of interestingly, this closet has a slight curve to the wall. I don't know if that's going to pick up on the camera or not, but that's actually kind of neat. A feature that nobody would notice except for me. Again, they got wood paneling there and just kind of a hanger. And I can almost guarantee you this pipe here goes down to that closet we saw downstairs. It actually looks like it's going to the roof, so it's probably a drain for the roof. That's weird. Okay, it doesn't look like the door was held closed by those. I thought for a second these were brackets that somebody put up and maybe screwed the door to keep it shut, but it looks like they just put them up there, maybe to hang something in front of the door. I have no idea. All right, let's go this way. Over here, we got another bedroom. This one is really decaying. This is kind of neat. Look at all that. Wow. I mean, it really is a shame, guys. I mean, this place is really old. You know, it's 40 years away from being 200 years old. And it's just sitting here in this shape, decaying and slowly getting worse and worse and worse. We really need to do a lot more to protect our heritage and things that made this country what it became today. The decay is really awesome though, isn't it? Again, you got another original looking window. You can see it's plaster and lathe walls. There's no drywall. And this room has interesting carpet. I just noticed. It almost looks like carpet you'd see in a hotel or a casino. Kind of strange. As is this plug. Oh, okay. I guess that's how they ran it into the room. That's interesting. That's a little hack work there on their own. Closet's very standard, you know, just a hanging rack and that's it. But the decay in here is really wild too. It's getting really moldy too, unfortunately. As we turn around here, Spider-Man's up there, keeping an eye on things, so we're safe. Okay, let's go back out to the main hallway here. On my left here, we got a bathroom. I was just looking at the doorknob. That's a beautiful porcelain doorknob on the door there. A lot of the other doors just have pull handles. Actually, it looks like all of them do. You know, that one has a pull handle with like a gate trigger for like a backyard gate, same with that one. And for some reason, this one locked on the outside. So I'm assuming the bad kid stayed in that room and they just locked him in. All right, so let's check out this bathroom here. So this bathroom is in the addition part of the house. This is the part we were just in on the main floor. Well, that's a really cool tub. So that looks like it's a mid-century modern tub. Tommy will correct me if I'm wrong, but that would kind of support my belief that this renovation and a lot of the changes that happened in this house probably were done in the 40s or 50s at the latest. You can see the walls of the shower were actually done probably in the 80s because instead of tiling or anything, they've got an insert, the plastic inserts, and this is very common from the 70s and on. So I'm assuming this is probably like a 70s or an 80s insert that they added to the tub area. And again, like the front room here, you can see right into the attic. You can see outside. The ceiling is in terrible shape. Again, they also have that wood paneling in here. Another original window painted purple. Of course, the toilet's here. Looks like a 70s or 80s toilet. There's not a turd in there, but there's a bird. So we're trading turds for birds today. Of course, they have that nosing going around the wall in here too. We saw that downstairs. It's a nice little, effect, I guess. Oh, that's a nice sink. So this sink doesn't have a vanity. It's not a pedestal sink, and it also doesn't have the legs to stand on. It's just mounted and hanging off the wall. Of course, you got the medicine cabinet here. Nothing in there except for a couple old batteries and Alka-Seltzer. And they wallpapered the back of it, which is kind of neat. And I bet you that wallpapering is probably from the late 80s too. Even the racks and everything, the towel holders, I would say all that stuff is from the 50s at the latest. Wow. It's wild to see a place in this shape. Soon you will not be able to stand on this floor. Soon this floor will be destroyed. All right, let's work our way back out to the hallway. We're gonna go left. This is neat. So we were just in the addition. And here's another reason why I can tell you that. This used to be, well, this is a window that's still faced outside. They just boarded it over. This window would be right beside the renovation where it ended, basically. So it's unfortunate this window is covered. Would have let a lot of nice light into this room or into this hallway, give it a lot of natural lighting, and it would have been especially beautiful in the mornings. You would have seen the sun rising. Of course, they have tried to repair the walls here, but yeah, it's a little bit far beyond being fixed at this point. Of course, we got a nice big closet here at the end of the hallway. Got some shelving, you got some hanging space, and they even paneled the ceiling in here, so that's very nice too. I really like that. And of course, you can see the stain that they originally did the trim with. Oh, look at that. You can see the inside of the door. I didn't even notice that, but yeah, look at this beautiful old door here. This is an old door. Probably, again, maybe from when they built the house originally, or, you know, a little bit newer than that. But it's beautiful, solid wood, stained, varnished. Got a beautiful porcelain knob, as does this door. That's nice to see. So this, I presume, would be the master bedroom. Not a very big room. Most modern day homes, or even homes from the 60s on, this would be like a kid's room or a guest room. But in this house, it's the master bedroom for sure. Everything is very yellow in here. Got some very primitive shelving. It looks like they built a plywood closet at one point. Didn't bother finishing it, but they did put nosing around it to tidy it up. That's interesting too. And of course, this is, yeah, it looks like a closet. It's not very big. Doesn't have anything to hang anything on, but I'm assuming that is a closet. You gotta be careful here because you got the port right there, and you got the other one there. This is the one we saw hanging through the ceiling where the stove would have been. So the stove would have actually vented right out of the ceiling. And of course they had a floor register there to heat the upstairs. But yeah, not a very big room. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, it's got the beautiful ceiling that's all wood paneled. You can see some of the original color of the wood there. And of course, you've got all the original trim and baseboards like the rest of the house. Of course, you got an attic hatch here. I'm assuming you're not going to see much, but I'll let you guys have a quick look. Yeah, there's not a whole lot. It's just roof, basically. But on that note, I've now shown you guys the entire house. So unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this Explorer because we've already seen everything and there isn't much of a basement left to see. I hope you guys enjoyed coming on this adventure with me. This was a really historic place, a really cool one to share with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, even if it's a little different, a little rougher than usual. If you did, please make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment afterwards, and of course, share this video out to help the channel and the video grow. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for today's adventure. I hope you guys enjoyed coming on this one with me. This was a really, really interesting place, built way back in 1865. And obviously, this place is just filled with tons of history. It would be amazing if the walls could talk. I would love to hear the stories that come out of this one. It's a shame to see that such a historic place could be left for so long now, almost 10 or maybe just over 10 years, and falling into this type of despair and decay everywhere. It's just absolutely rotting away, and it's a shame to see that. If you guys enjoyed coming on this adventure with me, Please make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment afterwards, and of course, share the video out to help the channel and the video grow. Well, that's all the time we have for this adventure today. Please make sure you click that subscribe button over there if you haven't already. Check out last week's video there. Check out the random video up there. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in.